Alright, boys and girls, today we're going to do a complete review of everything related to decimals. As you watch this video, it will be split into several successive segments. Also, during the course of this review, I will be putting some problems on the screen for you to work on your own, so you need now to get paper and pencil ready. After I have gone over a specific concept and worked some examples, I will then write a problem for you to work. At that point, you will need to pause the video, work the problem yourself, then play the video to check your work. Hopefully this will help you determine where and why you may be making mistakes. Keep in mind, you may replay these segments as many times as necessary. Alright, let's get started. Alright, let's look at the difference between a whole number and a decimal number. Five, of course, being your whole number. 5/10, 0.5 is your decimal number. This is what we have to deal with. We have to be able to identify and separate these two. Now, the first thing we're obviously going to do is to do some addition. So if I do that, let me put something up here. So if I've got these three numbers, these three decimal numbers I want to add together, the first thing I need to do, and this is my rule for addition and subtraction, and some more we'll talk about later, my rule is to line up the decimals. So I'm going to do 0.5, I've got 0.1, that'll look just like that, and then I've got 0.12, and this is what I want to add up. And notice I've got all my decimals straight in a line, just like this. And that's the way you have to do that. Now also notice over here, I've got 0.12, now I've got 0.1, but I've got nothing here and nothing here. You can leave that just the way it is, or if it is more comfortable and easier for you, by all means, fill this in with a 0. Now you're looking at identical numbers and digits lined up that way. So all I need to do now is come down here and line this up, and I've got an answer of 0.72. This is adding up decimal numbers. Alright? Let's try another one of those. I've got the same thing here. I'm just going to start back under this one. 1.2, 3.02, and 5.9. Once again, I've got some blank spaces here.
We need Amari on Brooks to come to the office. Amari on Brooks, please come to the office. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. So we filled in this with zeros. I come down here, and I'll have 10.12. This is my answer for this problem here. Alright, now I'm going to let you try one. Alright, you write this one down on your paper, work it out, pause your video, and then come back and look at it in just a minute. Now that you've finished, let's check and see what you did. If you line it up like this, fill in this spot right here with another 0, add this down, then your answer should have been 15.79, and we really should be reading that as 15 and 79/100ths. If you had this answer correct, then you're in good shape. Alright, now let's try something else. It's going to look a little bit different. Now notice what I've got up here this time. I've got 5, which is our whole number. I've got 6.01, 7.02, both decimal numbers. The one thing that most of us have the biggest problem with, carelessness, forgetfulness, whatever, is remembering that 5 is a whole number, and anytime I've got a whole number to be written as a decimal, I must place the decimal behind that number. If you don't do that, you're going to be in serious trouble. And that's where most students have a problem. They forget, just don't remember from last year what. But 5.0 is how I would write that as an actual decimal number. Now let's go back and put these with it. 6.01 and then 7.02. Once again, I may fill this in up here with another 0. Add it down. My answer is 18.03 or 18 and 3/100. Okay, I want you to try one of these because these are not that difficult. Alright, write that one down on your paper, work it out, pause your video, work it out, and then come back and check it. Okay, if you did this correctly, you wrote this down as 12.00. If you did not do that to start with, then you're going to have trouble. Look at your paper and be sure that's what you did. Now this my second one, 8.2. I'm going to fill in this spot right here, and then 6.29. I'll put that one right up under here. And then when I add this down, then you should get an answer of 26.49 or 26 and 49 hundredths is the way that should be read. That's our